what?
Hey, did I ever tell you guys that I went to Yale?
Yes,
motherfucker. Josh is holding up a Yale water bottle, and I want to be very clear to everyone. Josh did go to Yale.
That's right, everybody. I went to
drove
Yale.
there. He got out of his car and he bought stuff at the gift shop.
I literally went to Yale last week.
Anyone can go to Yale. You just drive up.
Yeah, I went to Yale and I dropped off a large speaker.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah. That was for Williamstown Theater Festival. Thank you.
Oh.
The weird thing about Yale that I didn't know until you were buying merchandise and showing it to us is that their like seal or whatever is in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Hebrew?
I know. Yale, not really a school that is known for its acceptance of the Jewish community. Like going back to like, I think Skull and Bones, they didn't allow Jews in for the longest time. Like it's
Boy, I mean, we really made progress the day that we finally allowed Jews into the Skull and Bones Society.
That's how you know we're a proper country. We're progressive, folks.
Why is it did you look that up as to like what was going on with the Hebrew there?
I mean,
why
it
that
just
happened?
says Urim and Thummim, right? It's referring to.
It just says that?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Why?
I don't know.
What is that for?
Who am I, Elihu Yale?
Do they have the Ark of the Covenant?
Yes.
Did I ever tell you
Indiana
guys?
Jones brought it back. Yeah.
Our college, which is now a university, because it filed some paperwork,
That's how it works.
had its own seal in Latin, and it was the Latin. Did they put it in English at the bottom as well, or was it?
No, well, it's just that there were two different versions, one in Latin and one in English.
Yeah, one for the idiots.
But it says, "My heart I offer to you promptly and sincerely," or "Prompte et sincere," which is usually the "Prompte et sincere" would show up in a lot of contexts, but it's me arte blah blah blah.
And
I don't know.
It used to be. I don't think
Latin.
it is this anymore, but it used to be. It's like a book, but then there's a hand coming out of the book, and it's holding a heart.
It's a mess. It's a complete
to
mess.
be handed to the Lord, and you can very easily. I did this in an art class that I was taking. I turned the heart upside down, and I changed it to whatever Latin for butt is.
That's good.
Yeah.
Can you?
My butt I offer to you,
My
Lord.
butt I offer.
Amazing. Can I ask one follow-up question? Can you play as Promptere?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Does NYU have any sort of liturgical language on a?
The fuck cares? I don't know. Probably not. Our mascot was named after our cataloging system in our library. The Bopst Library catalog became Bobcats. Like, it's not even that.
Wow.
It was named after a bobcat. It was named after the cataloging system, and we're also the Violets. We're the Fighting Violets for all
Hey guys,
other
did I ever
teams.
mention that I went to Yale?
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh
Anyway,
is, again, for his purposes, holding up the water bottle that says Yale
guess what?
again.
Regis Blackgaard has a twin brother. Holy fucking shit.
All right, yeah, we're back in Odyssey again here,
so
folks.
This was one I was excited to introduce this character to you. I didn't remember this episode that distinctly. I knew the main thrust of it. I didn't realize that they were going to keep it as a twist.
Yeah.
Until halfway through, they were going to let you just like fucking deal with this shit.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Double Trouble. He is actually Blackgaard's twin brother.
That's right. He's not just Regis Blackgaard pretending to be a different guy.
This is our first Paul McCusker episode of this, and our only. All of the others are Phil Lawler today.
Which is why all the other ones suck.
Yeah.
And this one's pretty good.
You thought so?
So
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so Lucy's, there are some weird little stretches that this makes. So Lucy's at the Harlequin Theatre.
And we'll remember that Lucy is the Cub reporter for the Odyssey Times, much like I was the Cub movie reviewer for my local newspaper.
And Lucy was personally traumatized by Regis Blackgaard.
Yeah, I mean, she
and his
almost
associate
fucking
Richard Maxwell.
died,
Yeah,
to be
she
clear.
was very nearly killed. So she is talking to the guy who runs the Harlequin Theater because apparently he's selling it. She wanted to ask him why.
Right.
That guy's already gone. He's already out of town. This is like this present
in Miami.
darkness. He's already cleared town before someone buys this up.
Hopefully not for the same reasons.
And she's met by this nice young man named Shakespeare.
In a show with the imagination station, the fact that they don't clarify immediately that it's not that Shakespeare, but it's just a guy named Shakespeare seems like a very confusing choice.
Yeah, his name is Walter Shakespeare.
Oh, for God's sake.
So Walter Shakespeare says hello, and he introduces Lucy to the new proprietor.
Someone from the press to meet you, sir. Oh, excellent.
Whose voice is that?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Miss Lucy Schultz, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the new owner of the Harlequin Dinner Theatre, star of stage and screen, Mr. R.E. Blackgaard.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Thank
No.
you.
What? No, this can't
No,
be.
everyone's least favorite Dutchman.
This can't be.
R.E. Blackgaard. There's only one thing that could stand for.
It's like this whole thing could have been cleared up. This whole thing could have been cleared up immediately. Like it's just
Like, this
it's one
guy
of those
knew
things.
his brother was in town and caused trouble.
This is
Yeah.
insane because
Right?
like Lucy's like, oh no, and then we get this fucking bullshit for like another 10 minutes or so. You know,
Where
like
at any point he could say,
I'm not my
his
brother.
twin brother. I'm a different guy.
And
This
if
is
they-
the plot of like a fucking Terrence play.
And if they did that up top, which would be the sensible thing to do, then the balance of the episode could be: do we actually choose to believe this guy or not?
That is what
Right.
they're doing. This is a Shakespeare plot. This is the comedy of errors.
Yeah.
Oh Christ! So, yeah, R.E. Blackgaard. It's as you can tell, he
And also is like the Booth family.
Yeah, it's Edwin Booth. Yeah,
Edwin Booth, Edwin Blackgaard. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Terminator franchise's own Earl Bowen is back once again because they wanted to have him around, but not as an evil guy. So he's doing a slightly different voice
Yeah.
to
He's
play
doing
Edwin.
I've been watching a lot of the HBO Max Harley Quinn show.
The Harley Quinn Theater.
Yes, exactly. And Alan Tudyk plays Clayface in it, and he does a very similar thing that he does as Blackgaard in this, which is just putting a little sauce on the end of like
Yeah.
every single thing he says, and it's it's delightful in every single one.
You know my problem with Alan Tudyk, right?
he has 2 penises,
He should have 3.
or should
It's-
have 3, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. It's a misnomer because he does have 3.
Oh shit!
Oh yes. Mhm.
Walter Shakespeare is played by Corey Burton. Once again, we get Corey Burton. He's just everywhere on the show now, right? He showed up.
Sure.
He did the Pearl Harbor episode. Now he is just like their go-to guy. Some of my favorite episodes are Edwin and Walter based episodes.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about Edwin and Walter that we need to understand is that they are gay and in love
They
with
are
each
gay
other.
and in love and
Yes.
married, and
That's
it's what
very
it's,
literally Shakespeare in love. Like
it's what people in the BDSM community call a full-time arrangement. It's a full-time dom sub situation.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Shakespeare, why are you wearing a collar? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Lucy runs to Whit's End and is like, "Oh no! Ah!"
And just screams for 30 minutes.
R.E. Blackgaard! It's R.E. Blackgaard! He's here. He's in town. He's here to finish the job.
What do you mean regarding Blackgaard?
It's actually regarding Henry.
That's
not
exactly-
funny. Why did I
Whoa.
say that?
No, because I was going to say it, Josh, and you knew you had to get it in there. You've seen like 12 movies. I'm surprised that this
Shut
is one of the
fuck
things
up.
that's
I'm
in your
gonna
roster.
shove my Yale water bottle up your ass.
So John Avery Whittaker hears all of Lucy's screaming, and he
Yeah.
says one of his most immortal quotes,
This is the start of the holiday season, not the arguing season.
more iconic even than that.
What?
Josh.
He what?
He says,
Well, whatever.
Connie's really mad because Regis Blackgaard took her hostage.
Right. And almost killed her.
He and Pinky, who had just freshly murdered a young boy in Chicago,
Right.
yes.
held her in like a fucking parking garage or like a warehouse that was going to become a distribution center or something.
Yeah.
And so she's mad too. It's like, oh, Regis Blackgaard is back in town. And we got to do something about this. And Whit's like, well, we don't have any proof that he did anything bad. To which I say, you do, because he held her hostage.
Absolutely fucking baffling.
There's a dead body in Chicago.
Right.
Whit, you and Richard Maxwell were both witnesses to the hostage situation. And also, Whit, you were working with the feds
It's
at the
it's
time.
completely fucking baffling. Like
You have the proof.
it would make some degree of sense if his initial response was, well, I don't think that that's actually Regis Blackgaard because XYZ things, as opposed to, it's we don't know if he still has bad intentions this time around. That's insane. That's an insane thing to say.
But what a twist if a couple episodes from now we found out that the real Regis Blackgaard was impersonating Whit and had Whit tied up in the basement.
I mean, I like the idea more that it's like a Parent Trap situation. So Edwin is out there doing the schemes and Regis is right there in town doing a one-man Hamlet. Edwin then shows up, R.E. Blackgaard shows up at Whit's End.
Right. He's posting up audition announcements.
Mr. Walter Shakespeare gives him a big intro because whenever he enters a place, Walter Shakespeare does an intro. Is he wearing a full-time metal collar that has a special key to unlock? Well, listeners, that's up to you to decide.
What other cages is he wearing? We'll find out.
Auditions? Yes. I intend to produce several new shows and hope to mine the depths of Odyssey for whatever talent may be encrusted in these dormant walls.
I love it when talent gets encrusted on the walls.
Yeah, Edwin's going to perform at the gazebo, but also audition, and it's kind of the same thing, I guess. There have been a couple of episodes about kids doing plays that Jack Davis was involved in. We're not going back to listen to those, AJ. You can just know that happened, and I can't even remotely remember the content of those episodes. That's how boring they were. Even I don't remember them.
Brian, how else will we restage them? Starring the three of us.
I went to a party in Berlin, and there was just talent all over the walls.
So then Connie chews out this man who she believes to be Regis Blackgaard.
Yes.
She tells him to go fuck himself, and he's like, "Well, I don't have to stand here and take it.
I'm leaving now. Good day to you, and to you, young man, and even to you, good lady. Shakespeare, the door.
It's still here, sir.
It was harrowing to discover that John Avery Whittaker was a playwright. That hurt me on an intrinsic level.
Can you imagine? Here's the thing. Paul McCusker is a playwright. And AJ,
what?
Would you like to know if someone recording this podcast right now did a Paul McCusker play in middle school?
What?
I would love to know that.
Yeah. Brian did this.
Yeah?
I did this.
He what?
I did this in 8th grade. I did a Paul McCusker play.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck. The title's really boring, but it's
Corpus
about a
Christi.
family that like gets a cabin up in the woods and I don't know. Time passes.
Oh, yeah, and then somebody comes in and like they're all put into terror. It's called Funny Games, right? I've heard of it.
Yeah. Paul McCusker wrote Funny Games. There was a lot more about the Lord in his version. AJ, I believe you can actually purchase his plays from his website if you are so inclined, and I know you kind of are.
Are you telling me that Samuel French didn't just like swoop in and publish all of them like whole cloth?
No, they might actually be published by like Zondervan.
Oh my God.
So you can also hear that Jack Davis's voice is now fully changed. Mm-hmm. He's one of the handful of actors they kind of kept around after his voice changed. The other being the voice actor for Jimmy Barclay, who actually gets an extended period of time where they keep working with him.
Oh, wow.
Most boys, they just threw him in the dumpster.
But yeah, Jack wants to be... Jack has like real dreams of being like a legit actor.
And a director. He's just like me. He just like me, FR.
Just like me also. And in Edwin Blackgaard, he sees an avenue for making his dream become a reality.
In dinner theater.
He, in spite of Connie's protestations, decides to go out and audition. And meanwhile, Dale lets Lucy know that he can't print the article yet because it's just not finished.
Yeah. And Whit also like excoriates Connie for not being civil because Whit is a big civility cop.
Civility is key. It's all about our norms. Even though Whit would be the biggest fucking MAGA guy.
Absolutely. We all know it. We all know it's true, regardless of what Focus on the Family officially tweeted from their Twitter account.
Yep.
Also, Edwin and Shakespeare, this is Blackadder and Baldrick because Paul McCusker is nothing if not a guy who really fucking loves British TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was also a Blackadder reference in another one of these episodes. It might actually be in the next one. But yeah, he even ended up living in England for an extended period of time while still writing for Adventures in Odyssey. With his British wife. He's down bad. Yeah.
Huh. But Lucy then decides, well, you know what? I'm going to be courageous and I'm going to go back there and really face off with this man. And it's like, okay, you're 9. First of all,
this should not be happening. There should be an adult in your life.
You believe that this is the man who almost murdered you in the imagination station. Like, Come on.
No,
And-
absolutely.
There's also a great piece of transition music. It's very Mist.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is 100%.
But then we get they're still like doing the, ooh, who is this guy? They're not saying the fact that he's just his brother.
That's showbiz, sir.
It's not showbiz, Shakespeare. It's something worse, something foul.
Ah, that voice.
Something that has hounded my footsteps on every inch they have fallen.
Sir?
Do I have to say it? Dare I speak the unspeakable?
Yes, just
Yes,
do
please,
it. Just say it's because
please,
your
just do
brother
it.
is Regis Blackgaard. Please, for God's sake.
And also
gotta-
just kiss Shakespeare full on the mouth.
Oh yeah, but you gotta love the way that he just really sinks his teeth into these deliveries.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
he is.
God, it's so good. He has a quote. I don't know if we've gotten there yet, but it's, "You do have your moments, though they are decades apart."
Oh
He's
yeah.
so good. It's delicious. You want to eat that all
Yeah.
up.
So Lucy comes over and she talks to him, and then we finally find out, it's a different guy.
Mr. R.E. Blackgaard.
R.E. I know Regis.
No, not Regis. Ronald. Ronald Edwin Blackgaard. I prefer to be called Edwin, inasmuch as I don't like to be confused with a certain clown with that first name.
Haha, Ronald McDonald. It's just Edwin Blackgaard. We could have just done this from the start. No, he's never referred to again as R.E. Blackgaard. He's always just Edwin. That's the future of Edwin Blackgaard.
I also just wanted to say that it is so funny to me how every time we're back at the theater, you're hearing like an Elizabethan lute recording playing in the background. Like I guess he just keeps this music playing all
I like
the
to
time.
think he has like a small orchestra of twinks.
Are they all named after like famous writers? Is there
I was
like a
gonna
Marlowe?
say, yeah.
Marlowe Johnson.
Or they're named after the
Peele.
other people who they think Shakespeare was written by.
Oh,
You got one named De Vere.
Francis Bacon. These men are all the finest that Prague has to offer.
By the way, just a very quick point of order, and I do want to keep at least a little bit of this in. We here at the Worst of All Possible Worlds strongly subscribe to the reality of history, which is that Shakespeare wrote Shakespeare, and anybody
Yes.
else who says that Shakespeare was written by literally anyone else is a fucking dumbass who can pound sand. Thank you for your time.
Especially very specific people that have been bothering Josh in particular lately. So
I went to Yale. I can talk about this stuff.
That's true. That's true.
So he keeps grabbing the water bottle and flashing it on the screen as though that's going to make a difference to anyone except for the present company. So they go to the gazebo. Edwin's going to do his performance. He performs always immediately right on time, which is not really how the theater ever operates.
No, you got to hold 10 minutes.
But also no one's there except...
yes.
There's no one out there except Mr. Whitaker. Hi, Mr. Whitaker.
Hello, Jack.
It's really funny.
That genuinely got me.
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
It's the specificity of it, right? It's like he's not right up on the stage, right? Like if this is the fucking Delacorte, he's like up high.
Yeah,
right? He's
he's far
intentionally
away.
picking the back row to sit in just to fucking intimidate this kid a little bit more. It's so funny.
But also, there's no one else there but him. So
Right.
he's in the back of like a completely
Alone.
empty space.
It's awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, so not only is he's a brother of Regis, they are twins. They are twin boys.
Yes.
They look exactly the same.
There's a very funny recurring bit where Edwin pronounces Yorick as Yorich.
Yorich.
Yeah,
They're
what
very
is that?
strange. I don't know.
I just think it was just a funny choice.
Do you
I
think it
You
was
thought
just
it was
like a-
funny?
Well, I
like
thought
a personal
like a silly
decision on
choice.
on like Earl Bowen's part to be like, he's not actually
I'm
a
sorry.
very good actor. He's not that good.
I didn't mean to sound that personally offended
it's
when I said
okay. It's fine.
I just didn't think it was funny at all. I thought it was like, what are you? Like,
Well,
is this,
I thought it was. I didn't think maybe it wasn't like laugh out loud funny, but there is like a bit of like it's such a specific character thing that he's not a very good actor. Like
Yeah.
to infuse it with like this is just a blowhard who thinks he knows everything, but
Sure.
pronounces it Yorich.
I was confused by that so much that because whatever the joke is, it certainly doesn't.
Well, you've
joke-
read the first folio. Is he called Yorich in the first folio, Brian?
No, he's Yorick in the first folio because the first folio is a good text.
The joke
in
would
the first quarto, it might be different.
The joke would land if it was Yorick spelled Yorich, but it's not. It's spelled with a K.
We have this whole thing where Whit has gotten a magazine that shows, and magazines don't publish like this, but Whit has a computers magazine.
No, Brian, it's the International Computer Newspaper. I wanted to be very clear about this.
And oh God, there's a European computer group.
That Regis is actually in Vienna today, this very day.
Well, the day before, right? It's yesterday's paper, I think. It's the paper. It's today's paper with yesterday's news. This is like the Financial Times, except rather than being about, the financial world, it's about the computer world, I guess.
Yeah. Because Whit's a big computer guy.
So Whit learns that Regis Blackgaard was in Vienna thanks to Wired magazine.
This here Nintendo Power says that Blackgaard has taken over Europe.
I see they've taken down that Stephen Glass. So that was famously something that Wired did.
I know that. I went to Yale.
Fuck.
He what?
We have this very nice last little sequence between Connie and Whit, where Whit's basically like, you should probably move, this guy is fine. We shouldn't judge him based on the sins of his brother. And he wants to hang up the thing in his window.
Yeah, he doesn't. Whit has a no posters in the window policy.
Right.
That for some reason we know about. This is not the first time this has been mentioned. Yeah. He lets people put up posters on a bulletin board in the little theater. I mean, there's actually there's a decent message in here, right? There's towns, small towns actually being suspicious of strange people, strange homosexuals moving in, and judging people for the sins of others and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, this could be about prejudice or something like that.
Yeah, because he's a dirty sitter, right? And he's moving into their town. Yeah. it ends with him being like, I'm going to put this up in the window. And
Whit goes to bat for him. He's like, I would love to shake the hands of a Blackgaard in friendship. It's kind of a weird line, but okay. Yeah. Because Whit believes in forgiveness, so he would actually like to do that to Regis as well.
Right.
I would be curious to hear a little bit more now that we've met him. Yeah, just your overall thoughts about Edwin, Shakespeare, and their whole thing. How did these characters land with you?
I mean, any character that can go that can make such an indelible image just by a few couple lines, that I now understand and can tell the difference between Edwin and Regis just based on line delivery, even though his voice is so distinct and is so magnificently resonant, but you can totally tell which character is which. I mean, I don't know if he ever does a scene with his brother at any point.
Oh, he does.
Oh yeah. No, I can't fucking wait.
When you have larger than life characters in a show like this, it actually helps to ground it, I feel.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you have the sense of, okay, here's our core rotation. And then we get so much mileage out of these other guys and our interaction with them. And the fact that they appear a bit larger than life means that the struggles of the everyday characters, the Barclays, Whit, Connie, Eugene, they all become more easier to empathize with.
I understand why they don't want to do that, because they want to make it a program for the whole family. But I can't imagine kids sitting through a lot of the episodes that we've listened to, riveted in the way.
And yet,
of course, if that's all you have, if you're in the desert, an RC Cola machine is as good as a Pepsi machine.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I do have literal memories of driving through the desert, listening to these unfamily road trips.
Yeah. It was 2 hours to Albuquerque and 2 hours back. So
it really, I feel like these characters would make it pop in a way that you could sell it to people who aren't necessarily Christian, right? But get them involved with those ideas, because when you're proselytizing, if you want to get people on your side, you have to kind of meet them halfway. And these characters feel like they're coming to meet the audience halfway.
Well, you might say, AJ, that you must become all things to all people, so that you may by all means save some.
Is that the Bible?
That's in the Bible, yeah.
Nice.
I couldn't tell because it wasn't in Josh's Bible corner, and that's the only way I can process information now.
I think that's a good point. Good point. That it is a situation where you would expect it to be pitched toward a different audience. The weird thing about this kind of media, though, is that they just assume that it will work as a proselytizing tool because it has the right message. That's something that is common across a lot of this stuff, whether you're talking about like Christian family radio more broadly, which was such a big thing in the mid to late 90s, down to Adventures in Odyssey. You know, they kind of hide the bag a little bit by being like, this is family friendly radio. Like my local Christian radio station growing up, that was always their thing. It was commercial free, family friendly radio, 91.3 WCSG. And that's just kind of the world that they live in. And they don't think too much about audience or who they pitch to because they assume that everybody else is going to have broadly the same experience as them. It's just that they chose to reject the Lord rather than, accept him. So if you just bang on the door hard enough, eventually somebody will answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you stand at the door and knock.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm more likely to open the door to someone who sounds like Harlow Doyle than I am, hey, it's me, your favorite character.
Right.
The nozzle.
The nozzle.
All right, folks, this is a preview of a premium episode, and if you would like to listen to the whole thing, come on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. Again, patreon.com/worstofall. It should show up in the little description thing. Just click the link. And if you subscribe to us, you get, well, double the episodes of what you can access on the main feed, plus some extras that we're putting in every month for our $10 patrons. And once we hit a certain number of patrons, that is, I believe the number 300, we are going to start adding more monthly content for all patrons once we have that level of support. We are listener supported. We intend to remain that way. We don't do commercials. We rely entirely on the people who like us to keep us going. Anyway, we'll see you next time.